exploring information as a constraint on evolution, a evolutionary informatics perspective.
Welcome to the Universal Principles podcast. Today we're diving into a fascinating concept, information as a constraint on evolution. It sounds complex, but we'll break it down. Essentially, it means evolution isn't just random, it's limited by the information available. What is evolutionary informatics?
Thanks for having me. Evolutionary informatics is all about using computers and information theory to understand how evolution works. It's about decoding the data of life. What's fascinating is that it helps us see evolution not as a free-for-all, but as a process shaped by informational boundaries.
So beyond random mutation and natural selection, information is a key factor. How does information act as a constraint on evolution at a higher level?
Exactly. Think of it as constraints-based optimization. All systems, whether biological, engineered, or economic, work within boundaries. Information, from DNA to environmental cues, defines those boundaries. The information content of a genome limits the possible protein structures. Epigenetic modifications also represent information that constrains gene expression.
That makes sense. Can you give us a concrete example of how genomic information constrains evolution?
Sure, consider the information content, Shannon entropy, of a genome. This essentially dictates the number of possible protein structures and functions. Selection can only act on what is encoded. A species can't evolve a protein that isn't coded for in its genes. Its genome is the blueprint, but also the limiter.
Okay, so the genes available limit the possibilities. What about the second example you mentioned, epigenetic modifications?
Epigenetic modifications, like DNA methylation, are like little switches that turn genes on or off. This represents information that constrains gene expression, influencing development and heritable traits even beyond the DNA sequence. It's like adding extra instructions to the genetic code, guiding its interpretation.
Fascinating, this is like the software that runs the genetic hardware. Are there similar concepts in other fields?
Absolutely. Think about software architecture. When designing a system, you have constraints on memory usage and processing power, similar to genetic limitations. The horizontal gene transfer principle in metagenomics is also closely related. It introduces new information, but the success of integration is constrained by existing genomic context.
Interesting, so if we want to apply this principle in our daily lives, what actionable advice can you give?
Great question. First, recognize the limitations of your information. Don't assume you have all the data. Second, be aware of the constraints within the system you are working. Understand the boundaries. Third, actively seek information to expand your understanding of those constraints and explore new optimization pathways.
That's incredibly insightful. Knowing our limits can actually help us grow. Any final thoughts on information as a constraint on evolution?
Just that understanding these informational constraints is key to truly understanding not just evolution, but really any complex system. It's about seeing the hidden rules of the game.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to Universal Principles. Join us next time as we explore another fundamental concept that shapes our world.